So today we are talking about how to start an LLC in Illinois. My name is Eric, and I'm going to give you 3 methods for starting up your LLC. The first would be going through your state website, which we're going to discuss in detail. The second is using online tools to set up your LLC. And the third is going through an attorney. But at the end of this video, I'll show you how you can go through an attorney with a free consultation involved. So perhaps before you dive off the deep end spending a ton of money with an attorney, you can figure out if that's the right fit for your needs. Also, what I'm going to be talking about in this video are important facts on how to make sure that your LLC is legit. A lot of people overlook these things, and if you're not familiar with the terms such as piercing the corporate veil or understanding exactly what a registered agent is and what they do for you, then you want to make sure that you watch this entire video to make sure that you're setting up your LLC in the proper way. So why don't we get started with the state website? So here we are on the state website, and I've got some good news and bad news for you. So some of the good news here is if you look at the state filing fees and we scroll down, you'll see that the old filing fee just for your articles of organization was $500, and now it's $150. So the cost of setting up an LLC in the state of Illinois is actually reduced quite a bit recently. So that's great to hear. The bad news is I don't think that this website is laid out too great. It's a lot of information, and what I have found is other services will walk you through kind of more step by step, where a state website is just somebody working for the state, for the government, and they just kind of throw every bit of information at you and then say good luck. So what I should mention too is the link here above. Any link or resource mentioned in this video will be in the description below. So if you go to the description, anything you could possibly need that was mentioned in this video is going to be mentioned there. So what you do is you kind of go through and click file, and we're just going to set up a standard LLC. And then this particular junction here, I'm just saying yes, I kind of meet all these provisions for the LLC. And then this is where it gets a little bit important here, is that if you put in an LLC name, you want to make sure that it is not taken already. So you can see I already have an example here of ABC LLC. What they'll do is they'll search their database here and they'll let you know what, we've already got these types of LLCs with these names here. So if the specific one that you're looking for is here, then you may want to consider a different name. But if it's not, you can click I confirm and you can continue through. So I just got some dummy information just to get through to the next page. And this is where I start to have kind of issues with state websites. So in this particular case, it's talking about a registered agent and registered office. It's saying that a limited liability company cannot act as its own registered agent. The address of the registered office must be located within the boundaries of Illinois. And then, a PO box is not acceptable. Who is your registered agent? So I think most people going through this at this point are just going to say, you know what? It's my friend Johnny down the street. I'm going to have him be my registered agent. He lives in Illinois. He'll take care of me. So the reason why this is an issue is in the case of you being sued by an attorney. Now, the whole reason you set up an LLC is to limit your liability. And if you're not doing things like this seriously, and you're not taking this seriously as far as your registered agent, you might be opening up yourself to a lot of liability. This might be a good point in the video to explain exactly what an LLC is and what it is not. Some people think that an LLC is going to create some sort of tax savings for you or tax advantage. It does not. It's simply for limiting your liability. What an LLC does is you have your business assets and then you have your personal assets. Your personal assets might be your personal home, personal bank account, your personal car, and the LLC creates a division between these two things. So what happens is if you are sued, an attorney who's suing you is going to try to do something called pierce the corporate veil. Now that is legal jargon for basically trying to find cracks in your LLC to say that your LLC is not legit. Now, one of the ways that this kind of happens is if you have issues with your registered agent. Now, if we go to this tool called InkFile, they explain what a registered agent is. So what they do is official letters and correspondence from your Secretary of State, services of process notices. So if you're sued, they're going to make sure that you're appearing in court, official federal government correspondence information notifications, tax forms and requests for payment, and requests to complete permits, company filings, or reports. So again, if you're going through your buddy down the street and he's not sending you these documents, not making sure that you're renewing with the state and making sure that you're doing your annual reports, you might have a crack in your LLC. So when you're sued by an attorney, they're going to find that crack. They're going to be able to pierce the corporate veil, and they're going to be able to erase that division between your business and personal assets. So what this means is they could potentially come after your personal home, your car, your personal bank account. So that's why it's really important when you're going through these steps is to not just kind of breeze through these types of things and say, hey, my friend down the street is my registered agent. So at this particular point in juncture, what I'd like to do is talk about why I think that some of the online tools outside of your state website are pretty advantageous. Probably one of the most popular one is LegalZoom. The only issue I have with LegalZoom is they're kind of the original gangster in this space. And that being the case, what they can do is they can actually charge you a $79 fee on top of your filing fee. So in your particular case, the state filing fee is probably going to be around $150, $154, but then it's going to be $79 on top of that. Now, the service that I was just showing you is called InkFile. I like this service for a couple reasons. One of them is their learning center here is super helpful. So if you're looking for state filing prices, or what we were looking at just a moment ago is about registered agents, start a business checklist is great if you're very early on in your business. But one of the other things too is they've incorporated over 250,000 businesses since 2004, and your eyeball might have been attracted to this big zero number here. So if you launch your business with this service by clicking this button or this button up here, what's going to happen is you'd say, I want an LLC, which, you know what, 80% of all entities created are LLC, so it's a very popular choice. And then we go down to Illinois. It's going to open this up and it's going to say that this is $154 for your state fee, and then it's a $0 package fee. So you might be wondering, just like I did, like, how is it $0? Like, what's the catch? And where the catch comes in with this is the free registered agent service for a year. So if we go back to this article that we were checking out here and we go down towards the bottom here, and you'll find this one line of text that I'm going to highlight here, and it says it's even free for the first year when you incorporate with InkFile, and then just $119 annually after that. So again, going back to the state website, they just ask you very quickly who your registered agent is. They don't really qualify it. If you go through InkFile and you're registering your LLC, it does mention the free registered agent service, but it's going to be $119 for year 2, year 3, and so on. But in my opinion, it is well worth it because the whole purpose you're setting up an LLC is to make sure that you're limiting your liability, and you don't want to have cracks because you decided to use your friend down the street. Now, a couple other things I want to make highlight of here is the EIN business tax number. I had to do this for myself. It's definitely a pain in the butt, but the link right here is for the IRS right here. It's going to walk you through. First thing you want to do is, do you even need an EIN? Most people will if they're setting up an LLC. Maybe you don't. But if you have to apply for it, you can click this link right here and apply for an EIN. So that's one of the main reasons that some people like to go to the next package up, is they get that tax number. Some of the other things to consider here, this is worth mentioning. You can get a business banking account. Right now, InkFile is doing that through Bank of America. It is free for you to set up with a Bank of America bank account anyways. And what I found is if you go through the silver package, they'll actually offer that for free in here. But I thought this was worth highlighting for another term that I want to discuss, and that's commingling funds. So if you have a personal bank account and you start running your business bank account out of your personal bank account, again, that can create a crack in your LLC, because what that attorney is going to do is they're going to say, you know what, this is not a legit business, this is not a legit LLC, because they have a personal bank account running funds through it. They're also paying vendors through that personal bank account. So if they're able to pierce the corporate veil, then what's going to happen is that division between your personal and business assets is going to disappear, and that's very bad for you because you're going to be able to come after your personal assets. So it's very important that you get a business bank account set up when you're setting up your LLC. Now, if you were to click in the silver package here to get started, what they'll do is they'll walk you through step by step on how to do this. One thing worth mentioning is that this is a fully deductible business expense when you're getting set up with an LLC, so that's good to know. But I really like the way that they lay everything out and walk you through and be able to go through everything yourself and make sure that you're doing things correctly. So the last thing I want to talk about is if you have a more complex business situation, perhaps you've already been creating income for a while and maybe you're selling out of state and you have different things going on, it's probably worth consulting with an attorney. The downside of an attorney is it might cost you anywhere from $800 to $3,000 or perhaps more than that. But the upside is that if you do have a complex situation, they may find something that is more advantageous for you to consider. Now, one of the services that I like for this is Avo. Now, if you are using Avo, I'll let you know that I am not affiliated with them in any way. So if you use my link, I am not compensated. If you do end up using my link with InkFile, I will be compensated for that. And I appreciate you using my link because it helps support my channel and what I'm trying to build here on YouTube. But again, going back to Avo, one of the things I like is they make it really easy to filter down. So there's 9 results for LLC lawyers in Maryland. But then what I would recommend doing is clicking this free consultation button. And now you can see that there are 2 attorneys that'll give you a free 15-minute consultation to discuss your situation before the meter ever starts running with that attorney. This is really helpful, as I mentioned, if you have a complex business situation and it's something that you might want to discuss with an attorney. I definitely recommend going this route in that case. So last thing I want to talk about is how to save on taxes. An LLC, like I mentioned earlier, will not do this for you, but an S-Corp has the potential to do that for you. So if you click the Inc. file review video at about the 2:15 mark is where I talk about an S-Corp tax calculator. So again, links in the description below. I appreciate you using my Inc. file link if you decide to go that route, and I will catch you in the next video.